On camera, we have Senzo. Hello, Senzo. Senzo's giving thumbs up and saying hello. It is warm. It is 34 degrees, which is about 93 Fahrenheit. We are sweating, but we're sitting in the shade and there's a bit of a breeze. Don't forget, we are interactive. We are live. You can follow us on the Twitter, #SafariLive, or you can follow us on the YouTube chat. We have a few schools who are joining us today. We've got Woodstock, Rice Creek, College Park Elementary Schools. Welcome everybody, welcome students. I'd be interested to know what you all are studying today. I would like to go dam hopping, and the reason why I want to go dam hopping is that I want to see what's coming for a drink. It is very, 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 very warm. So when it's warm like this, I'm hoping for elephants, I'm hoping for some croc sunbathing, I'm hoping for some bird activity. We're gonna hit up Treehouse Dam, and then we're gonna go down to Twin Dams, and then we're gonna eventually end up at Chitwa Dam in front of Chitwa Lodge and see what is potting. Alright, so kiddos, I would like some wonderful questions today. You always give great questions while I bumble along in the sunshine and the heat. Senzo's not wearing his jackets this afternoon. He's in short pants and a very short sleeve t-shirt. Are you in the crocodile shirt? He's in the green crocodile shirt. Okay. We've got some puffy clouds, which is good. It is a rainy season, so hopefully we'll get a wee bit of rain. Treehouse Dam is just up ahead. We had the most amazing sighting this morning, Senzo and I. We had dwarf mongoose, which are these tiny little brown mongoose, which is similar to like a dwarf ferret or a marten. And they were attacking a black mamba snake, and they got him inside of a tree, and they were all standing on their back legs. Oh, they're cousins to meerkats. So you all probably know about meerkats, especially if you've seen The Lion King with little Timon. They were standing on their back legs, and they were chirping at him and alarm calling, and they were running about, and they were clustering underneath. And then finally the snake had had enough, and he decided to start coming back down the tree, and they all ran off to their termite mound where they live, and they left one just to double check and sort of harass him a little bit. And then eventually he got out of the way because the snake was coming down, and then we got a beautiful, beautiful view of this snake. Just to give you guys an idea of how big this snake was. We can see the road in front of me. Hey, Sens. I'm gonna get out. So this road is you don't see my feet. Am I far enough, Senzo? Should I do some ballet moves for you? So about 2 meters, so he was this long. Just to about there. It's very long. So to give you another idea, if I stand, I can't really do splits, but it's big. Okay, don't laugh at me, Sens. Come kids, I know you enjoyed that. He was very big, and he'll get even bigger. And he was probably as thick as a softball. He was as thick as a softball around the middle. A little bit thinner on the end. Ooh, so Rice Creek, you are studying animal adaptations and food chains. Very interesting. We actually chatted food chains. We actually chatted a little bit about trophic pyramids and food webs the other day. So we can definitely chat about that again. It is a super interesting topic because everything feeds everything else pretty much. And it's important to remember that it's not just from one up to the top, but it's all interconnected. So let me get into a little shady bit. We're almost to the dam, and we can see what type of organisms are about. So adaptations with organisms that live near a dam like this would be something like the birds that we're up to see. A blacksmith lapwing has some chicks here. So something they've adapted is they don't build nests, they put scrapings on the ground and they lay their eggs there, 2 to 3. This one had 3 that we know of. And the eggs are roughly the size of a 1/4 and a half. So our 5 rand coin, roughly, or your quarter and just a little bit more, and they're colored like pebbles, like stones, to help blend into the ground. So they've adapted over time to be able to make this nest that blends into the stones around the dam where they lay them, so in the hopes that they don't get eaten. And if anything comes close, then they attack, or sometimes they pretend to have a broken wing to sort of get it away. Alright, don't forget everybody, we love any questions. It doesn't have to be a question about anything that I'm talking about. You can ask me a random question. My favorite color is blue. It's turquoise, azure. Color?
Green.
His is green. The bush shrike. You see the bush shrike? Every bird that we see often, it's an orange-breasted show, but we have gotten to Treehouse Dam, and we do have our tiny little blacksmith lapwing chicks and a parent as well. There's a tiny little chick. So I would guesstimate he can fit in the palm of your hand very comfortably. He's teeny, 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 tiny. So they're about a week old. I wouldn't say they're much older than that. And as we came around, the parent, who's just a little behind this little chick, started going tick, 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 tick. There he is there. Hannah, we are in South Africa, which is the very bottommost country on the whole continent of Africa. It's the whole southern tip. Good question, Hannah. There's our little parent, not concerned with us anymore. But still keeping an eye on its little baby there. Hannah, where are you? In which part of the States or Canada are you in? Or are you from another country? All right. So the other parent, do you have Egyptian geese? We can do the Egyptian geese, Sens. Oh, sorry, thanks. Sens has gone over to the Egyptian geese, which are actually over on the other side of the dam. And these geese are not actually geese, they've been misnamed, they're actually ducks. And the Egyptian part comes from, not because they're from Egypt, but because of a very special eye marking they have over the eye that makes it look like the makeup that pharaohs used to put, the kohl, K-O-H-L, I believe it was called, over their eye. Our sun's in a little funny spot, but I don't want to move too much right now because I don't want us to have a gremlin come and attack our signal and then we don't get to chat with each other. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful warm afternoon. Okay. So, food webs, food chains. What would we imagine that these geese and maybe these blacksmith lapwings, what would we imagine that they eat, everybody? Any ideas? Maybe focus in on the blacksmith lapwings. Alright, so because they're on the edge of the water here, they're going to be eating something that would be similar to, sorry, my English is not very good today. They're going to be eating little insects that are there at the water's edge, possibly little bits of vegetation floating there, but mostly insects. And they fill a very important role with the way that they wade on the edge. Senzo, I don't know if you can catch at the backside of the dam, the other blacksmith lapwing has started to chase a starling around. He doesn't want the starling anywhere near its part of the dam. The starling's not going to kill the chicks. It's not going to do anything. He's just being overly protective. Alana, it is super fun on safari. Every day is different and every day is fun, and we get to play outside all day. I don't have to sit in an office. My office is this vehicle, or sometimes it's my own 2 feet, and I get to play around with Senzo or some of the other cameramen, but Senzo and I have a really good time. And yeah, I smile every day, Alana, every single day. Are you in Virginia Beach? What's the weather like there? Is it warm? We're November, so it's probably coming into winter. So we're coming into our summer, basically in summer now. So it's nice and warm here. I imagine it's very cool there. But Virginia Beach sounds like a good area. Now, Virginia Beach, you'll probably have some water, and you will also have waders like these, or shorebirds as well, like these little blacksmith lapwings. More of your waders are going to be something like sandpipers. You'll definitely have a lot of those. Do you see something, Sens? Ooh, impala. Senzo has found us a mammal species. Anyone have any ideas what that could be? It's similar to your deer that you would find in North America and parts of Europe and in Asia, but we don't have any deer here. These ones have horns that grow once in a lifetime. The deer that you have there have antlers that shed every season. It is an impala. And they eat... Madison, what type of animals do we see every single day? Different types. So impala we see every day. This morning we were tracking lions, but we didn't get a chance to see them. Elephants we saw this morning. So the general species, Madison, that we'd have here is impala, wildebeest, zebra, giraffe, different mongoose species, lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, rhino, crocodiles, hippos. What else? Steenbok, which is a type of antelope, and duiker, which is a type of antelope. Kudus and waterbuck are also types of antelopes. We have a good variety of mammal species around, and then our bird species, oh my goodness gracious. I believe if I'm remembering correctly, we have about 497 birds across the country, and here in this area I think we have close to 400. Roughly. I'll have to triple check for you on that, but we have quite a few. Now, sneaky in the bushes behind us, we have some wildebeest and some zebra, but I'm waiting to see if they're going to come down and drink for us. Can everyone see the zebra's bum through the branches there? So the food webs, the food chains that we were talking about, that zebra fills an important role of the food chains. So it provides food for lions, it eats the grass, and by eating the grass, especially the very tasty types of grass, it helps the grass grow even more. And then when it becomes food for the lions, its body then provides the nutrients for more grass to grow and for the soil to be rich for the grass to grow, and also tree species. And then that lion that's eaten that zebra, when it passes on, its body also becomes nutrients for the soil that then feed the grass that then feed the zebra, in a very brief terms. Tyrell, you're wondering if we're going to see lions. Tyrell, I really hope we're going to see lions. It is very, very hot. So it's about 93 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is very, very, very warm. And lions don't sweat like us. They have to pant, and so when it's very hot like this, they tend to sleep in the shade. And this morning, the area that they were in is very difficult for us to get to. So what I'm hoping is that as it gets a little bit cooler and they start moving, we might get a chance to see them. That would be my hope. Ah, we have a wildebeest, another antelope species. So kiddos, this wildebeest, if we've seen the Lion King, the stampede that happened with Mufasa, that's what this type of animal is. Not the same one as the one you would have seen there. It is a cousin of that one. This is the blue wildebeest, or the brindled gnu. McKenna, the tallest mammal in Africa is a giraffe. It's also the tallest land mammal on Earth. And then the biggest land mammal that we have, sort of bulk size, is going to be the African elephant. But if we're going to go into the biggest mammal that we would see sort of off the coast of South Africa, or just generally in the world, is going to be the blue whale, is the biggest mammal that we have. And then that one's in the ocean, but not on land. We're not near the ocean, so I'm not going to be able to see a blue whale today, unfortunately. But we might see some elephants. We might see some giraffe, the tallest and the biggest bulk. Oh, Senzo, nice try. It flew away. All right, everybody, let's go see what's happening at Twin Dams. See if any of our big mammal species, like our elephants, are coming down for a drink. Or maybe we'll get some different antelope species. Sorry, Kirst, I lost you there. Chloe, you're wondering what my favorite animal is. I have a bad habit, Chloe, of loving them all. But if I have to pick one that I'm jiving with at the moment, that's my absolute favorite at this moment, would be African wild dog, also known as African painted wolf. They're super rare. It is also something we see here. I forgot to add it to my list. But they move big distances, so they move in and out of the area that we work in. The other morning we were busy tracking them, but they had already moved out, so that would be something. If we see wild dogs, you're going to watch me scream with delight like it's, you know, the best day ever, because it would be the best day ever. African wild dog. So there's only, on the whole continent of Africa, there's only about 3,500 of them left. Some of them, so probably a little bit less by now, because that number came out in 2012. And that number is a fraction, a small fraction of what they should really be. So African wild dogs are not the same as the dogs you would have as a pet, a domesticated dog. Years ago, about 3 million years ago, they had an ancestor that was a wolf. Wolf and wild dogs came off, and domesticated dogs came off of wolves. And African wild dogs just stayed African wild dogs for the most part. And let me actually show you a picture before we carry on, so you guys can have a baboons, Senzo, baboons. We don't get to see baboons here very much at all. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail and I will get you a visual on the baboons, and then I will show you what an African wild dog looks like. How's that, Senz? Are you good there? There we have a Chakma baboon. There's a young one. So baboons eat fruit, they eat insects, they eat a little bit of vegetation, and the big males eat meat sometimes. They'll eat things like baby impala, which we're gonna see shortly. Since I'm actually thinking if we come around the corner just a little bit, we might get a better view. So we don't get anything where I am in South Africa. We don't get gorillas. The primates that we get are humans, baboons, vervet monkeys. Do you want me to go back? I was thinking here, Sens. There's a beautiful spot just here. Vervet monkeys and these beautiful chocolate baboons. Oh, and then of course you run. Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky baboons. They are sometimes okay with the vehicle and sometimes not. As you can see, they were happy for us to come around, and then they decided that they're going to move a bit. They sit up on top of these stumps and sometimes climb up into trees while they're feeding. And then at night they'll sleep inside the trees. If there was a lion, Tyrone, you're asking about lions. If there was a lion around, you would hear them go pow, 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 as they climbed up into the trees. And if there was a leopard around, they'd go pow, 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 pow. They would go absolutely nuts because leopards can catch and kill and eat baboons. But baboons have these really amazing canine teeth. They've got the largest canines of any land mammal. And they're able to also gang up on a leopard and kill a leopard if they need to. Hannah, you're asking what is at the very top of the food chain. So for us here, if we take humans out of it, at the top of the food chain you are going to get things like lion. So lion and some of your eagles as well. But we'll go with lion, leopard, cheetah, wild dog, spotted hyena. All of those predators are going to be the ones that you see top of the food chain. Sense you need me to move a bit. Oh, Gage, you are asking how fast are baboons? I've never done a race with a baboon, Gage. I'm not quite sure. But I have seen a baboon stealing ostrich eggs and running with two of them under each arm, being chased by an ostrich. And an ostrich can do about 80 kilometers an hour. And at one point that baboon had to throw away its ostrich egg and run with just one underneath and loping, and so he was probably doing about 50 kilometers an hour because he had a head start on that ostrich. So they can be quick when they really need to, but it's not something he can keep up for a long time. I think maybe I'm overestimating as well, that 50 kilometers an hour, maybe a little bit less. Good question. So they're going to forage and carry on doing what they're doing until the sun goes down and then climb up in their tree. It's really interesting. These baboons will habitate the terrestrial, so the ground areas, and they'll also go up into the trees as well. So they do the ground level, they do midway, and then they also do top level feeding. So they're accessing many, many, many different points within habitats and within niches to fulfill their diets. And they've adapted to do that so as to be able to survive within harsh conditions. Amani, you're asking, is this the only time of the day that baboons come out? So Amani, at night baboons sleep because they have eyesight like us. We can't see at night and neither can baboons. So the minute it's light enough, they'll come down. So just before sunrise, move about throughout the day until it's starting to get too dark, and then back into their tree and then sleep through the night. And the way that our days work here is we roughly have about 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness. Right now we probably have closer to 13 hours of daylight, so 11 hours of darkness. Work that. So they move half and sleep half. But if they get disturbed at night, they can smell a leopard moving about or hear a leopard, wake up and start calling. An alarm call for anything else that's around, because like the impala that we saw earlier, they also can't see at night, and the wildebeest and the zebra as well also can't see at night. So that's one of the many reasons why you see lion and leopard moving a lot at night. Is one, it's cooler like we talked about earlier, but then also their prey can't see, and if it's very windy, so and like lion smell at night, they can hear at night. They do very, very, very well. And that's an adaptation. Their eyesight's an adaptation that they've developed. Now we've got Scott up in the Masai Mara, which is in Kenya, which is north and east of us, or along the Great Rift Valley. He's in a completely different ecosystem with a different habitat and has something very special he would like to show you.
Hello everyone and welcome to Kenya. It's been a wet and soggy afternoon, but some of you may have seen the Facebook Live when they caught their first Thomson's gazelle of the afternoon. They have managed to catch another 4, so a Thomson's gazelle have been shared by these two sisters. Now, we do apologize that it wasn't possible to have you along for the latter 4 kills. It's been raining and we've had all kinds of issues our side. But it's been quite a fascinating afternoon, and there have been actually lots of moments that have been quite tricky for myself and Manu to watch. My name is Scott. It's great to have you on board with us, and it'll be interesting to see what these guys get up to. They are clearly very full-bellied, and a lot of the Tommies that they ate were absolutely tiny. I'm guessing they were born within the last 24 hours. So it's unlikely that they will actively seek out anymore, but it's been such easy pickings for them. They literally just walk around. 3 of them they actually haven't even had to chase. They've just picked them up. Quite tricky to spectate. And you find that often with predators, when they catch young prey, they almost don't know what. It doesn't flee permanently, trying that they don't try and run away. It kind of confuses the predators. At one stage, one of these sisters was kind of like urging the thing on, saying, "Go on, run, get away from me so I can catch you." Hello, Bella. You'd like to know what is the difference between a cheetah and a leopard? Well, there's quite a few differences. That's one thing that a cheetah has that a leopard doesn't. And you'll also notice how its coat is full with lots of spots. It doesn't have as many round spots like that. It has more irregular shapes and what are called rosettes. So it's almost like a circle with a dot in the middle. If that are powerful animals, whereas cheetah are more a Labrador to a greyhound to a cheetah. Greyhounds being the very fast, skinny dogs, and Labradors obviously being a little bit more chunky, depending on how well they get fed and how much exercise they do, the old Labradors. So those are a few of the main differences. Both of them zebra foal there, and quite a few of the females are still quite heavily pregnant. That one at the back is definitely still pregnant. And it is the time of the year where a lot of the herbivores are giving birth. So lots of cute youngsters around, but lots of problems regarding predators, because all of the predators know that there's lots of easy meals going around. While they're walking, and just pluck the grass as they go. That's all they like to eat. Sometimes they can be quite vicious when they fight with one another and or chase off small predators like cheetah or jackal, but their favorite food is grass. So they are loving the weather and the conditions at the moment, because as you can see, there is plenty.
We're almost to Chitwa Dam, and I have a surprise. Are we ready for a surprise? What do we think our surprise is going to be? Any ideas? Any thoughts? Any ideas? They drink water. They've got a really long front nose. It's elephants. I'm very excited. Sorry, I love elephants. They are absolutely incredible. I would say they're probably top of the herbivore food chain around here, but I might be a little bit partial. They have been, they look very wet. Oh my goodness, Lena, how long is an elephant's trunk? That is an excellent question, Lena. So every elephant's trunk is different in size. It depends on how big the elephant is. So a little baby's trunk is going to be sort of this big. You can see that. And then a big elephant's trunk is going to be longer than I can show you right now with my two arms. Lena, if these were not wild elephants, I might be able to go stand next to one and show you, but these are wild elephants. They're not going to let me do that. But what I can do is get you as close as possible and we can inspect. And I will eyeball it and give an estimate for you on the closest one we can get to. Beautiful. Yay! I'm giving Kirst a thumbs up. So in my ear, everybody, I have someone named Kirsten. She is the director. So she's the one that feeds me through all the questions. So it looks like our little gremlins for now, touch wood, thumbs crossed, fingers crossed, have decided to migrate away. We have a beautiful herd of elephants. It looks to be about 15 in number. And they've all been for a little swim. They're very dark in color. And we're gonna go have a look. Ooh, I think it's actually closer to about 25 elephants. They're all hiding in the bushes down here. But let's have a look at these ones. This is a nice view. We've got Chitwa Lodge in the background here. This beautiful dam is right in front of the lodge. There's a young female moving off. And then sends, if we can go down to these ones that are nice and close to the water, beautiful. Hannah, elephants live to be about 60 to 65 years old, so very similar to humans. Alright, so the ones we're looking at now, the two younger ones, one's teenage, the one on the left is a teenager, probably about 10 or 12, and the one on the right that Senzo is zooming in on is probably about 6, right around in there. So the 6-year-old, his trunk, I'm going to guesstimate, is about just under a meter, so about 2 foot, 2.5 foot. And then the older one, that one there, I'm going to probably guess is over a meter, so 3 to 4 foot. That's what I would guesstimate. And that trunk they use as a nose. They use it as a hand, picking up food. They scratch their inside of their ears with it. Myasia, you're wondering, what do elephants eat? Elephants eat fruit, they eat grass, they eat leaves, they eat bark, they eat tubers. Tubers are sort of like potatoes. They grow underneath trees, at the roots there. They like to chew on the roots themselves. Wonderful. So this is the last little group to have had some water, had a drink, and had a little bit of a bath. They're going to come around to where the larger group is. Senzo, I'm thinking Let's stay here maybe for a little bit, or I can pull up and we can watch these ones feeding down here. I think the feeding will be good so we can show you how well they use their trunk, how dexterous that trunk is. So just down on the side here. Alexis, good question. You're wondering, what do they use their tush for? Their tush are used for stripping bark, and I will show you just now the results of that bark stripping. They use it to defend themselves, and they use it for fighting as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this one here, just on our 3 o'clock sends, has some really interesting tush that are sort of crossing each other. And we see there. So these tush are your 2 front teeth that are growing, and these ones have just grown at a little bit of a skew angle. And elephants are either right tush or left tusked, and this one there is actually looking slightly ambidextrous, although a little bit to the right hand side, and you can tell that by how it's worn down, on which side it is worn down. There they go. Now sometimes when they're feeding like this, they'll take a branch and use their tusks to help. She just did it a little bit there to help take the leaves off, and they'll sometimes form a little bit of an angle, a little bit of a, not an angle, an indent on that tusk. There's their trunk in use. And they're very particular. They're not going to just eat anything. There's certain types of leaves that they like to eat, and they'll smell a little bit before they eat them, and they like really fresh grass for the most part, but I mean, also beggars can't be choosers. And then, Sens, if you wouldn't mind, if we could just come to the bark of this tree that's at our 1 o'clock. I just want to show everybody what it looks like when elephants debark a tree. So you see the parts of the tree where it's gone, the bark has been taken off. It's old, but basically an elephant has taken its tusk and ripped at the bark and then used its trunk to pull it off, to take off that bark to eat it. And if they take that bark all the way off, it'll die. We start to see, Taylor, you're wondering, when do baby elephants get their tusks? We start to see their tusks, Taylor with a D, we start to see their tusks around 2-3 years old, but that's their second set of tusks. They get milk tusks first, milk teeth, I should say. Murphy's not being kind to me with my positioning today, everybody. I'm unfortunately having to move my vehicle around a lot because this is the way that the animals are moving. So what we're going to do is we're just going to back ourselves up a little bit. So a group of elephants is called a parade of elephants. That's the collective noun. And they do indeed parade around. Now we're seeing this herd, this breeding herd of elephants. So you get breeding herds that are made up of females and youngsters. When the males reach about 15 years old to 18 years old, they get kicked out and must go join other males to learn how to become an adult male elephant. And then the adult males don't stay with the herds at all. They're either by themselves, or sometimes you'll see an old male elephant with a young male elephant. And that old male elephant's teaching that young male elephant sort of how to be an adult, and it's called an Ascari relationship. He's also keeping that young male in check to make sure that he doesn't do anything to disturb the herds and or steal his ladies. So they're going to cross behind us then. So what I was thinking is if we back up a little bit more, yeah. All right, school, unfortunately we're going to have to say goodbye. I do hope you join us again. And I would like to say hello, hello, hello to all of our other viewers We are here at Chitwa Dam. We are live, we are interactive. You can ask us questions, hashtag Safari Live on the Twitter, or follow us on YouTube chat. I'm so sorry that I'm not staring at you through the camera. I am busy driving backwards to get us an amazing view of this beautiful herd of elephants that has come for a swim at Chitwa Dam and are now busy meandering off. Stunning. Look at all the little ones coming through. Let's just take a moment and appreciate this. They're going to come right up to the car. They're going to smell us a little bit. They're going to pass either in front of or behind the vehicle. They've got very relaxed ears, relaxed tails. There's no issues with them. We've got a very pregnant female that's going to come and investigate us. But let's just be quiet and listen for a minute. Hallo my girl, moenie worry nie, my skat, jy's reg. Jy's 'n mooi meisie, kom ons en nou my fuzzy, ja. They're coming right in front of the car. They can smell us, the wind's blowing from behind me. This little one's just saying hello. And again, look at their posture, really relaxed tails, relaxed ears, completely aware that we're here. I wish you could smell through the camera. Elephants have a really distinctive smell. Hello, little one. That's a young male. He's just doing that because he's a young male and he can. They're full of beans. I'm trying to think how to describe this smell for you, especially after they've been in the water. Senzo, how would you describe it? It's an elephant smell, yeah? It's, if anyone's been around horses, that's the only thing that I can possibly equate it to is similar to horses, but that's not it either. So we're getting very lucky. They're coming right past us, but then they're going for a second drink. So earlier they had already been swimming in the water because you can see how dark they are. Some of them already have mud on them, but they're filing down and coming for a drink. So once the whole herd has passed by us, I'll reposition so that we can see them drinking as well. And I just want you all to see just how relaxed they really are with us. We moved with them. They saw us moving the whole time. We gave them enough space to meander the way they need to meander. Hello, young man. Are you going to come say hello? Notice how the bulls were the cheekiest of the lot and coming up to sort of show themselves like I'm a big elephant, but then going, maybe I'm not so big. All right. Let's just pull forward a little bit. Here we go. They're gonna swim for us. They're gonna swim and throw mud and throw water. Can everybody hear the sounds that they're making as they splash in the water? So it's interesting that they went in, swam, drank, and then they're doing it again for us. That's just showing you exactly how warm it is. The best way that I can explain this is take a hot summer's day, wherever you happen to be, and you go swimming, you immediately get out and you're still hot, and then you need to go back in. That's what's happening. Oh, fantastic. Look at this. Everybody, little ones, big ones, everybody's getting involved in this swim. You can actually see the joy on their faces as they're moving around and the relief. Think of your hot body, how nice it is to just get in the water and cool off. And then once you've cooled off, you're able to move your body a bit more and expend more energy and enjoy your day, enjoy yourself. Elephant swimming at Chitwa Dam, live action right now. The whole herd, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got about 15 to 18 elephants all enjoying a swim. Don't forget interactive hashtag Safari Live on the, and also on the, oh my goodness. Look at that shot, Senzo. This is incredible. Notice how they're wading through. All the little ones are in the middle. The adults pushing through, the little ones following behind. And it's interesting, just half the herd decided to swim. They've already been for a swim, as we talked about earlier, but just half the herd, and then the other half moving on, and these ones don't want to be left behind, so they're coming out. Listen to those sounds. Talking with each other. Not to us, but definitely to each other. That was two young males having a little communication there, maybe a little bit of a tiff on the side. And a young one coming up to investigate, see what's happening on with its older siblings or cousins. Now, if they wanted to have another drink, so they came down and they drank and then they swam, if they want to have another drink, they'll go to a different part of the dam, because they've made the water too muddy for them to be able to drink here again. Tris, you're wondering how big does an elephant herd get? I've seen elephant herds of just 3 individuals, a mum and 2 youngsters. I have seen elephant herds that are well over 100, so it depends on the food resources that are available and the population numbers in that area. It's all very dependent upon that. Such a beautiful scene. So sorry, in my excitement earlier, I didn't finish one of my sentences, which is, don't forget, as we've just heard, you can send through your questions live to us, hashtag Safari Live, on Twitter and on the YouTube chat. You can also follow us on Facebook and interact with us that way as well. Adele, you're asking, do newborns go swimming as well? Adele, I have seen, I wouldn't say day old, but I've seen week, 2-week-old little ones doing a bit of a swim, but the mums are super protective. I've actually even seen, on a really hot day, even hotter than we are today, a mum really needing to get in to swim, getting in, and the older sisters and cousins watching the little one on the edge. And then what you'll see is the little one will go to the edge of the water and then just sort of flop down halfway and lay there. He's not going to get in as much as you saw with those others there. Now look what they're doing as they're walking away. They're throwing dust on themselves, also another way to cool themselves down and protect their skin. Francis, you're asking how the trunk works. So Francis, the best way that I can think of right now to explain how this trunk works is if you feel the end of your nose and you've got that cartilage that wiggles around at the end of your nose. that's been elongated. Yeah, so Senzo's gonna watch me twitching my nose about just now. So you've got your nose. I can't move my nose around too much. I broke my nose last year and it's still a little bit sore. So this part, and then it's just elongated. And then there are sets of muscles, round about 45, 50,000 sets of muscles that are intricate through there, that help maneuver the trunk around. And your nostrils that are here, hope I don't have any boogers, everybody, your nostrils that are here, obviously it still carries down, and it's still the same type of system where it filters up through your brain so that they're able to breathe through it, they're able to smell through it, and then when they're sucking the water up, they're sucking it up, but they're not sucking it up all the way. They're just sucking it up enough to then be able to squirt into their mouth. So it's very similar to you using a straw, going and then holding it and then blowing it out. I hope that explains it as best as I can right now. Thanks, Chris. All right. We had a beautiful little interaction for our Facebook Live today. I hope you enjoyed that. We've got this little male who's hanging about at the back end. He's been left by the herd because he's been kicked out. So we're going to keep an eye on him, but we are going to say goodbye to you, and I hope you enjoy your afternoon and keep following us on our page or on the YouTube after we cut away. So this young male, even though he's been kicked away from the herd, it's not like the herd says, okay, go away now, and then he goes, okay, fine. I've watched the separation between young males and they're being kicked away from the herd on maybe 2 or 3 occasions. It's not easy. It's very painful for everybody involved. So what you'll see for sometimes up to a year after, depending, is that he'll sort of stick behind. I've also seen them go and try and attach themselves to another herd. It's separation anxiety. It's very similar to you sending your kids off to university when they're 18 and your kids wanting to come home all the time and eat your cooking and sleep in their own bed. It's similar to that. Shame he's trying to decide if he can manage to get a drink. Hey, buddy, what you doing? He's afraid of falling in. It's interesting, he's afraid of falling in, but he's perfectly capable of swimming. Just as a thought for everybody. Even the Egyptian geese are laughing at you, my friend. I'm sorry. Ooh. So, Mara's Wi-Fi is not cooperating today. It happens. So viewers, it's all of you and me today. We're gonna have a great time, especially after this fantabulous elephant sighting, and we're still busy with this comical young male. We also have hippos at the dam. We have water thickneys, we have Egyptian geese, we have blacksmith lapwings, we have all the weavers that are around. Here the buffalo weavers in the background. We got a lot going on. And I did say that we would try and look at the hatchlings, the crocodile hatchlings today. And we did also have a request to see if we could see any of the baby hippos. So once we're finished with our very indecisive elephant, we'll look around. Sorry, Chris, what did Cheryl ask? Cheryl, that's a super interesting question. Cheryl's asking, can elephants burn their feet on the hot ground? Cheryl, the bottom of an elephant's foot is very thick cartilage that has a very sort of callous, cracked pad on the bottom. So from what I can tell from having worked in many different parts of South Africa as well as many different countries across Africa, is that they're very capable of moving over. Oh yes, hello, I see you. Good afternoon, sir. Don't look so indignant. You're fine. Carry on. Yeah, I still see you. Carry on, my boy. Go do what you need to do. You're not that big yet. Go away. He can hear me, by the way. I'm not just talking to talk to you guys when I'm doing that. I'm also talking to him, and I'm choosing my tone of voice very carefully to dictate the situation. We chatted about it a little bit this morning. So he gets frustrated and he chases off the thick knees. That's some displaced frustration. Oh, shame. He's gonna keep doing it. So yes, to finish up the answer to the question, I've never seen them walk across any sort of soil when it's hot or not and burn their feet. Although I would imagine that something like hot coals would possibly do something, but I think the heat that we would feel through our very soft human feet is much more excruciating than what they would. They're more adept. You can see the bottom of the feet there. Thanks, Sen. Sen's read is reading my mind perfectly today. It's adept to be able to allow them to maneuver the way they need to maneuver without too much pain. I've even seen them with thorns. I don't know if you all remember sort of devil's thorn or sheep thorn. It's that plant that we make the soap out of. When they get this seed that has these two little prongs at the end, and I've seen many elephant feet within them, and they walk around no problem. So the heat would be similar. All right, Sen, shall we do some hippo love? I'm sorry, that male elephant was hysterical. Ah, it's the hippos! Yay! With some oxpeckers. Now, most of the hippos that I can see in this little pod, it's a pod or a raft of hippos, are the adults. I haven't really seen too many of the youngsters yet this afternoon. It is very windy, so even though it's warm, it's very windy, so they're staying underwater more than usual. But we'll keep our eyes peeled for the little ones that you all enjoy. Sorry everyone, I keep taking pauses. It is probably the warmest day we've had this week, so I'm busy reminding myself to drink water. Hydration is extremely important out in the middle of the African sun. These hippos have a good time of hydration, sitting in the water all day, not to get sunburned. Alright, well, our hippos decide whether or not they're going to show their cute little faces. I think maybe James did ask yesterday afternoon if we would please see the hatchlings of the crocodiles, and then we didn't get a chance because we went to go look at one of the Birmingham male lions. So I think let's go down to the other end and see what our hatchlings are on about. Oh, and there's more. There's another male elephant coming through. Tony, you're wondering if a baby crocodile would ride a hippo like a terrapin does. I've seen a baby crocodile on the back of a hippo. I actually saw it up when I was working in Kenya many years ago. I've also seen it in Zambia, but little tiny ones. I haven't seen, like hatchling size, I haven't seen anything bigger than a hatchling. I would be interested to know if other guides have seen something larger. But a crocodile that's larger doing that. I would imagine that the larger they get, the less likely the hippo is wanting or is willing to allow that to happen. And I have a feeling with my two particular instances, they both were very large male hippos, and the hatchlings were teeny tiny. So I don't even know if that hippo felt those hatchlings at all. I see one. In the shade there. It's even too warm for the crocodiles. Oh, Senzo can see too. Senzo, your eyes are much better than mine today. There go the Egyptian geese with their ducklings. Remember, Egyptian geese are misnamed. They're not actually geese, they're ducks, so their babies are ducklings, not goslings. And it's interesting, the parents aren't really doing much to those hatchlings, and my assumption on that is because the hatchlings are very little and their ducklings are big now. So the chances that those little hatchling crocodiles can do anything to those ducklings is on the edges of the realm of possibility. Yes, the wind is blowing. It's going to be cooler tomorrow than it was today. Very, very hot day like today. We've jumped up several degrees from yesterday. And then with a wind that's blowing like this, usually means that it's going to be cooler the next day with a possible cold front coming through or some moisture. Well spotted, Senzo. There's Mama Croc. Keeping an eye out. Senzo and I were talking about tortoises today, and how tortoises spend their winters. They do something called aestivation, and crocodiles do a similar thing. So it's a type of hibernation, and they go into sort of termite mounds and mud banks, and they rest there. They basically lower their heart rate to where it's non-existent and stay there until it's wet enough for them to start moving. Now, with a big dam like this, something like this, mother crocodile won't necessarily need to aestivate. And then Paula, you were asking, do crocodiles sometimes catch birds? And that's a definite. The size of the crocodile dictates what they will be eating. So the smaller the crocodile, the smaller the things it'll eat. So like these hatchlings, for instance, they're going to eat other hatchlings, and they will eat possibly small terrapins. If they can catch a bird, they'll try a bird. And then as they get bigger and bigger, they'll start going for bigger and bigger prey. That mother crocodile that we're just focusing in on, she could very easily take out, I would personally say with her size, something like a small to medium size impala. She might go for that Egyptian goose. Oh my goodness, we have a bird called an African finfoot that is super rare. I've only ever seen it 3 or 4 times, and I had birding guests years ago. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to show you this African finfoot. And we get to where I'd seen this female finfoot earlier in the day, and just as we're getting there, this crocodile caught this finfoot and then ate it in front of us. We were devastated. It was an amazing sighting, but because I had serious birders with me, they were not very impressed with that crocodile. Let me just show you. Oh, beautiful shot on those red-billed buffalo weavers. This is an African finfoot. They hide in the edges of reed beds. The top one here sends. Sorry, I know my fingers are all over the show. These ones here. So something that is very hard to see. Beautiful bird. I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. And when I did say earlier as well, I would show photos of the African wild dog. Our schools have gone already, but because we've been talking about African wild dog for like 2 weeks now, and they haven't managed to pop their heads up, I think we just need to take a look, because visualization is always good for hopefully getting the sighting that we want to get. Oh, there they are. African wild dogs. Absolutely obsessed. They're incredible, and every time I come and sit at Chitwa Dam, in the back of my head, all I'm saying is, come down, come run down in a pack, drink, maybe have a hunt, maybe make a kill. But there we go. There's our positive visualization for the day. African wild dogs coming to the dam. Our baby hippos are still hiding. There's a big herd of impala that's coming out to drink on the opposite side. Our Crocs are not doing much. Lady Sapphire, you're asking me how I broke my nose. It was a Noel moment of note. It was in spectacular fashion. It was actually from a car accident. I'm fine, don't worry. But yeah, I've never broken a bone in my entire body, and I managed at the age of 34 to break my nose, and then a very dear friend of mine actually reset it for me, and he's done a spectacular job. But I'm amazed at how, I mean, this was a year ago, how tender it still is. So for anyone else that's broken a nose, I feel your pain. It's very awkward. And there's a little bump now, so my vain self is like, oh, I've got a bump on my nose. Yeah, Lady Sapphire, it was an interesting occurrence, that is for sure. Ah, scrub hair! Senzo, I swear you are speaking animal languages today, because you're spotting things everywhere. Senz, maybe we should put you here in front and I'll go to the back of the camera. We'll swap for today. Senz, what's the name of a scrub hair in Shangan? Angas. Oh, Senz is saying he doesn't know. I keep forgetting the name of the scrub hair. It's one of the names that I forget often, and every time I have to ask someone, and then I forget it to the next one. I'm busy trying to learn my bird species and my mammal species in Shangan. And also tree species as well. I am not very adept at languages, but I have been around Shangan people and Afrikaans people for long enough that I really should speak both languages much better than I do and understand them much better than I do, so I'm busy working on that. James speaks, it's fluent Shangan. Hey, Sense. His Shangan's good. Him and Sense. Oh, we've got more elephants. Oh, fantastic. We've got a nice big bull and a small bull. We were talking about these Askari relationships with the older males and the younger males, and the older males teaching them how to become younger males. So they're smelling us at the moment. I want them to come up and drink properly, but I don't want to be in their way. So I'm just going to back up a little bit just to give them a little bit more room and let them decide where they want to be. It's not that I think that they're going to do anything to us or with us, but making sure to respect their space and watching where they want to move is very, very important. So there, see exactly, he wanted to come where we were, so now I've given him a little bit more space to come where we were. He is a beautiful boy. Look at the size of his head. So again, I know we're on camera, and it's not like the termite mound where I can run up and show you the size of the termite mound. But you can see it's thicker. It's much thicker than those females that we were looking at. When that younger one pops up, it'll be easier to see. He's an older gentleman. You can see that near his temples, there's indentations from the skin. Very similar to humans. The older we get, the thinner your skin gets. It sags in places it shouldn't sag. Are you going to walk down alongside the damn wall? Alana, interesting question. You are asking how long would an elephant live if it lost its trunk? So, Alana, I have been around an elephant who had its trunk, half of it bitten off by a crocodile. And then 6 years later, it was probably about a 4 or 5 year old elephant. 6 years later, I went back and that elephant was still doing fine. So it just can't do the branches as well, and it can't necessarily drink as well, but they can push their mouths down. We've got another herd of elephants that's also coming down to the dam. So everyone, what I would like to do is I would like to reposition us, because I would like to be able to get a nice full view of the other herd that's coming down as well as these gentlemen. If you will all just give me a second. And also the light's still really pretty. Let's take advantage of all of this. Alana, I would be interested to see if the whole trunk was taken off, if they were able to adapt. But again, I mean, animals in general are very good at making themselves survive as much as possible. So it would be an impairment. It would be similar to a human losing a limb. And I have friends who unfortunately have lost limbs for various different reasons and still manage to have a very rich, very full life. I know that we use technology to aid in that. But especially when they live in a herd structure, I think that they would be fine for the most part.